Welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to go through the application process in order to get a license to operate a home care agency or a home health agency in the great state of Washington. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through some of the things you need to pay attention to when you are applying for a license. Let's get into it. You want to go to the Washington State Department of Health website, and I have it open right now. What I'll do is I'll be sure to add this link in the description of this video so it's easy for you to find it. Before I navigate to fees and all the requirements, let's just skim through this first page to kind of go through what the basic requirements are, and then we can get into more detail here. So it says here, you have to submit a copy of the in-home services orientation class. Applications will not be processed unless a certificate of completion has been submitted. So you want to make sure you get that in-home services orientation class. And they should have a link of all that right here under orientation classes. And then next is submit an in-home services application. So once you click on that, it should redirect you to a PDF. Before we look at the PDF, I want to look at the fees together, because the way they've structured it can be quite confusing if you don't pay attention to the details. You can access the licensing fee on this link here that says licensing fee. The other things that need to be submitted, go ahead and read up on this page. Everything is pretty straightforward. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to cover everything, but let's go into looking at the fee structure first, and then we'll look at the PDF application. Let's read through the first bullet together. I'm not going to go through everything, but I think the first bullet and the third point here should give you everything you need to know. So it says here, initial license, an applicant shall submit to the department an initial 12-month license fee of $3,283. So it's this one right here. It doesn't matter if you're applying for a home care agency or a home health care agency. You have to pay an initial fee of $3,283. It's not until, point number 3 states, it's not until you have to renew the license that you have to pay the fees that are listed out here. To reiterate, initially you had to pay $3,283 for both types of agencies, including the hospice. And then after you start operating your agency based on the FTE, there is a definition of what that means. It just essentially means how many hours you are servicing your clients and how many employees you're servicing your clients. Be sure to read up on what FTE means. I've not seen such a fee structure for other states, and which makes Washington State very lucrative in starting this home care business, because in my experience, if the license is too easy to get, that means you're going to have a lot of competition. But if the license is expensive and difficult to get, that means your competition is not going to be that much. And there are a lot of wealthy clients in Washington State. So once you start operating your business, you can get a lot of elderly clients. I want to point out that they also defined the differences between home care and home health agency. A home health agency is defined as providing skilled nursing and therapy related to services to the ill, disabled, or vulnerable persons in their homes. And then the home care agencies is defined as providing non-medical services to ill, disabled, or vulnerable persons. So when you're coming to look at the licensing fee structure here, you'll know exactly which one you're paying for. Let's jump to the application PDF. The application PDF consists of 19 pages, as you can see up here. And I quite like the way they've organized it, because at the beginning here, they've listed out all the pages and what's included in all the pages, including a checklist. What I want to focus on is the application instructions checklist, license requirements, and the full-time equivalent, FTE. If you recall, FTE was mentioned in the licensing fee structure, so they define it on that page. Again, I'm not going to go through every single one of these 19 pages for the sake of this video. That's going to be your job to read up on all the details. I'll focus on the highlights that I found you need to pay attention to the most. First is obviously where to submit your application. Once you have completed it, you have to submit a check or money order to this address, and all documents are sent to this address. And if you have any questions, by any means, they've listed out their phone number here. Call that number. If you get confused by anything on this application, that's what that phone number is there for. And there should also be an email on the Department of Health website for you to contact somebody. Utilize it. Let's go to our application instructions checklist. So application instructions checklist, we already covered the application fee. It's weighted based on the type of agency, obviously, and how many employees, as you saw. So be sure to read up on all of that. And they also reiterated that when you're renewing, what you need to do. And then additional requirements here, the obvious, right? You need a tax ID, you need your LLC, your phone number, physical address, email address. And then here, they talk about services category. What I noticed with Washington State and a lot of these states that require you to submit a license, they don't specifically mention that you need policies and procedures, and it's sort of vague. But I know for a fact that if you're paying $32.83, $3,000, over $3,000 for a license, they will ask you for policy and procedures. They do not clearly state that out on this PDF, but you will need them. I know for sure you will need them. Stick around to the end of this video and I'll show you how I can help with that process. So continuing on, they're saying here, service areas. They need you to specifically define which services you are going to deliver. Those activities of daily living. Things like background check, they need all of that as well, listed out right here. Things like signature. For additional information, read up on all that as well. That's for you to read now. Let's keep going. License requirements, additional stuff here. Please read through all of this. Criminal background, as you can see. Let's keep going. Now you get to the pages where you have to fill out all your information. So make sure you fill it out correctly, because if you don't fill it out correctly, if it's not legible, you might risk it being sent back to you. That's going to delay the process, you see. So instead of the process taking maybe 3 months, it might take you a year because you haven't filled it out correctly. Maybe your zip code is wrong. Have somebody, I always encourage this, pay somebody a small amount of money, maybe $100, to proofread everything for you. There are platforms like a Fiverr or something like that, or Craigslist. Find a proofreader that can help you go through all your application process. These are fields that you need to fill out. Be sure to read up on all of this stuff right here. And I'm going to the last page, disclosure statement. signature section right there. More fields to fill out. Now this is where the full-time equivalent worksheet comes into play. So when you fill this out, they will know this is how much you should pay in terms of the fees, or this is how much you should pay when you're renewing. More fields to fill out. And this is the last page of the application. As I mentioned, a state like Washington that you have to pay over $3,000 will require you to put together policy and procedure. This process, a lot of people get jammed up on it because it's time consuming. It requires you to put together so many Word docs, and it can get quite annoying, to be very honest. And most people give up at that stage, and I have a solution for you. I have created templates for policy and procedures, and these allow for you to purchase them, download, fill in your company's information, edit it a little bit, and submit that over to the state. These templates work for any state. You can be in California, Ohio, Georgia, it doesn't matter. A lot of people have purchased these policies and have gotten results with them for the application process. So if you're interested in starting your agency, I highly recommend you purchase these because they'll be super helpful for your application process. They'll save you a lot of time, a lot of headache, because it's already done for you. I hope you got some value from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.